Hello, friends, and welcome. Today, we're going to be watching iNSaNiA play Oracle. The captain of Team Liquid, used to be Alliance, a very good player. Let's watch. Let's take a look at his starting items. He's got some tangos, very standard. Salve, also standard. Mangoes, I think, are pretty good on Oracle. Oracle is a hero that has kill potential if you spam out Purifying Flames and Fortune's End, but you'll notice the mana costs, 80, not too much for Purifying Flames, but when you are spamming it out, because your combo is to use Purifying Flames, hit them with the Fortune's End, and then before Fortune's End hit, you use another Purifying Flames, and then if you have to, you keep spamming out Purifying Flames for the kill. That, as you can imagine, that's a lot of mana. So, I think having a couple mangoes ready so that when you do need to, well, if the opportunity is there to spam it out, then you are ready. And because you don't want to sit at full mana the whole laning stage, that's pretty useless. During the laning stage, we're going to want to cast Fortune's End and Purifying Flames a bit to harass. So these mangoes are kind of a backup, ready to go for a kill or save Sven if needed. Fairy Fire, Oracle's got a pretty good right-click animation, used to be even better, had to be nerfed because this hero was dummy good. And then Iron Branches, just a nice way to round out the remaining gold, give you some stats, a bit more mana pool for that spamming we talked about, a bit more right-clicking, all of that jazz.
30 seconds to battle.
I see a lot of people start Fortune's End. I'm pretty sure the first 7 levels of Oracle is very consistent. Let's look at the scoreboard so that I'll talk about this before I forget to mention his spells in the future. This is almost always the build. I very rarely see anyone ever deviate from this. You start with Fortune's End, you get 2 points in Purifying Flames, Fate's Edict at 4, max Purifying Flames, grabbing ult, and then after this, there is a bit of variation. Some people will max Fortune's End right away, some people will max Fate's Edict. Looks like in this case, he got a 2nd point in Fate's Edict before Fortune's End. I'll be honest, not a huge Oracle player, so let's see how he uses it, because honestly, I'm not 100% sure why. Well, actually, okay. When you get a 2nd point in Fate's Edict, it makes it easier to hit Purifying Flames twice on a carry to heal them without doing damage to them, so that might be a reason. We're going to have to see how it plays out. I'm not 100% sure. The times I do see Fate's Edict maxed first is when the enemy team has a ton of magic damage, or, ironically, a lot of right-click damage, because this disarms and you can cast it on the enemies. So say they have a PA, you can disarm her, and now suddenly she can't really do anything. She can't take magic damage, of course. That's the hard part about playing Oracle, but that is... I'm just telling you what I see, So let's get into it. Starting items all seem good. His team seems fine. Have to be a little careful. They are lacking... they have some stuns. Sven, Tiny, Oracle's got Fate's Edict, or Fortune's End, sorry. But Oracle and Sven stun are extremely slow, very easy for AM to dodge those. And Tiny combo, yes, tough for AMs to dodge that, but it's probably not long enough to get the kill. So they have to be a little worried about him in the late game snowballing. But they have a good lineup to deal with that. Slow down a bit because the lane has now started. And you don't want to fight Nature's Prophet. That's pretty scary. Plus this Earth Spirit. Nature's Prophet will do a lot of damage. You see he had 4 Treants there. And even though 2 of those are going to die soon enough, that's still a lot of damage. Okay, check this out. iNSaNiA has the Quelling Blade queued up. It's happening, guys. The Quelling Blade video will come out soonish. I haven't started it, but I've thought about it. I think this is good because he's against the Nature's Prophet, so you can cut the Sprout. And I think it helps you spot the Earth Spirit. I think there's a lot of value. Though, interestingly, he does not buy it immediately. He has it queued up. I don't even know if he buys it in the end. Maybe he changes his mind. I have been buying it right off the bat. We'll see. If he's not buying it immediately, then my guess is that he's buying it for a Sprout and not so much the Earth Spirit. Even though what you'll see in my video later, one day, is that I think it is pretty helpful at dealing with heroes like Earth Spirit. Though actually Earth Spirit happens to be one of them where I think it's not as good because he has the role. But anyways, let's talk about iNSaNiA playing Oracle. Looks like he is trying to see what Earth Spirit is up to. not getting his courier killed. Fortune's End does a decent amount of damage, 120, and it lets you get off a couple auto attacks. Fortune's End is deceptively strong in many cases. So you see here, he harassed Earth Spirit a lot. Decided not to chase, though. I am a little curious on that. I suspect it's because it's very dangerous for him to chase. You saw, in fact, we can still see, Sven is under tower with a lot of creeps, and so if Oracle completely leaves, there's a chance that maybe Nature's Prophet dives, and he'll be needed to help here. Plus, I think it's scary to go in here against an Earth Spirit and against a Nature's Prophet, who could very easily kill you. Nature's Prophet could hit level 2. Look, we see he hasn't picked his levels yet, so he could easily grab teleportation, and if Oracle runs down here, he teleports in. This guy saves his stun for Oracle's teleport out, and then Oracle's just dead. So he might be valuing to stay over here and try to do some pulls instead. So back to Oracle. Okay, he got a sentry to deal with this. We see here, he did not block his own, as I'm sure you can imagine. Let's see. Half pull. He could probably do the full pull, but they will kill off all of these. I think a half pull sounds good. I am the best. Okay, let's see. So this is why I think it's good. Because now you see all his creeps are dead. And, okay, well, this has distracted them a little bit. But this is going to kill off those 2 creeps. Whereas if you bring all 4, they'll all die. And now he could even do another half pull. Nice. And you'll see this will now get them... He'll now kill these off. And they will spawn at the 3-minute. He just denied 4 creeps from Nature's Prophet and Earth Spirit. So even though Earth Spirit did that pulling trick down here and Oracle was not able to pursue, that means they lost an entire creep wave worth of experience. However, now he has done 2 successful half pulls, and he has essentially denied a full creep of experience as well. In fact, slightly more, because he denied 2 ranged creeps, which is worth a little bit more than 2 melee creeps. Or, I'm sorry, in total, he had 2 range, 2 melee. That's worth more than 1 range, 3 melee. So actually, this response was really nice. And Earth Spirit, I'm not sure where he is. Looks like he's now returned. So far, Oracle, a little bit underleveled, but who cares? Sven's doing pretty well. And against a Nature's Prophet, like, this is a ranged versus melee matchup. So usually, Nature's Prophets would do really well here. So far, we've seen Oracle playing really well. And any hero could do this so far. This is not Oracle specific. This is just supporting basics. Managing pulls, half pulls, all that. Any support can do it. Okay, so this is where you start to enter the deceptive kill range of Oracle. Now, he only has level 1 in Purifying Flames, but with a stun... Let's see, does he have stun? Yeah, he has stun. They could potentially get a kill here. If you're an Oracle player, get a good feel for the damage you do. Alright. Now, if you're watching this... Well, actually, I don't know. You may not know anything about Oracle at all. This is not meant to be a brand new introduction to Oracle, so we won't go too deep into it. But, essentially, what you should know as an Oracle player is that if you cast Purifying Flames on an opponent, look at the damage, look at the heal. You do more healing to the enemy, but it takes time. So, when you use Purifying Flames on them, you either have to cancel out the healing effect with Fortune's End, or you have to get the kill. And so you see very careful use of Purifying Flames. He thought, okay, we can probably kill this Earth Spirit without using Purifying Flames. I'll hold on to it. That also saves him some mana. Decides not to get the Quelling Blade. Now I look like a fool. But instead is going for a Ring of Basilius, it looks like. A good mana regen item for his own hero. And Sven doesn't hate it either. Now, Sven's not a huge spellcaster, but this lets him use Warcry a lot more if Nature's Prophet shoves the lane under tower. This gives him the armor needed to sustain that. Plus, the stun does use up a decent chunk of his mana. So, I could see Ring of Basilius being good for this lane. And if we look at the team, Good for Tiny. Good for Shadow Fiend. Good for Timbersaw.
Middle tower is under attack.
Just doing a basic pull here. The lane was pushed up, so this is safe to do. Red Spirit has not been... doesn't feel like he's been very present in the lane. I'm not sure what he's been up to. But Oracle is making use of it, okay? So that's the big difference. A lot of times, myself included, sometimes the 4 is not in the lane, but we're still up here trying to harass Nature's Prophet. And instead, we see that Insania has identified, you know what, I'll just pull. I'll do a bunch of pulls, deny a lot of experience, because there's only one hero here, and if Nature's Prophet is in the lane, he can't deal with my pulls. 5 minutes is coming up. Let's see if he goes for the rune. Pretty risky. Although now they see Earth Spirit's bottom. So they might be looking for a kill here. Okay, let's slow that down. I was a little fast in case you didn't see it. Potentially looking for a kill. Instead, they're just going to get some damage out. Fortune's End first. Cancels the channel immediately. You still get full damage. God, I hope so. I'm pretty sure you still get full damage, but you just get a reduced root time. 95% sure that's the case. And then Purifying Flames, he uses it before the Fortune's End hits. So he gets the damage, and then before Nature's Prophet can heal at all, the Fortune's End purges off that healing effect. And you get a good chunk of damage. This did 180 damage, this did 120. So that's like 300 damage with some reduction. So like 250, 225. Yeah, 225. Do a bit of damage so that... okay, so why that mattered. Now if he wants to come contest the rune, right? Before he was full health. Maybe he comes and contests, and they don't kill him. Like, we just saw him use a decent amount of spells and the stun, and he didn't die. But now, he is at, you know, 3/4, maybe like 2/3 health. Now, he has to be a little more scared of dying if they use those stuns and combos on him. So they do a bit of damage to him to make him too scared to come out. I don't know if he would have anyways, because it is 2 against 1. But now, even if Earth Spirit does rotate up here, this guy still has to feel a little scared, because they could possibly just turn on Nature's Prophet and kill him. So that damage sets up being able to safely get these runes. Now he's already rotated away from the lane, so why not see if we can get anything done mid? Hey, look at this. Fortune's End does pierce off. Okay, let's slow this down, actually. Looks like this is useful. So first off, Fortune's End purges off the ice armor. I didn't think it purged off Scorched Earth, but I was gonna wait to see it just to double check. I don't play that much Doom, I'm not sure. But it purged off the ice armor, which is useful because this is 5 bonus armor and it slows people who attack you. He's gonna cast it again. And now we've used our burst. But hey, look at this. You can spam some of this out. Looks like he's holding it a bit. Okay. I kind of expected him to use this a bit more, but he's being more careful with it, waiting for Fortune's End to come up before doing it. I guess he really values not letting the heal hit, or maybe he was uncertain whether they would get the kill or not. Did Doom have a stick? Yeah, so maybe he was being cautious not to give him too many charges, and then suddenly he heals, and now he's getting all the bonus healing from Purifying Flames. Double stack. Again, many supports can do that pretty easily. Hit this camp at 53, this camp at 55, walk this way. Also works over here. Hit this camp at 53, this camp at 55, walk away. Other camps can do it as well. We're not going to worry about this. A TP's in because it might be in a little bit of effort, or a little bit of trouble. Ugh, I can't talk apparently. No, easy kill. What did he just spend his money on? We're going to find out. Clears up a slot to get his items. Pops in the clarity. Now he's got his boots. Alright, he doesn't feel like he has anything to do right away. So look, he's just setting up. Ready to double stack again. Same camp. Look at the heroes on his team. They all excel at clearing stacks. So whether Sven, it should probably be Sven or SF who takes this. Maybe Tiny get close to a blink and decides to use it, although 6 minutes would be incredibly fast. Either way, stacking is fantastic for his team, It's only 640 though, and many of us, I think, okay, I I would be tempted to move somewhere else, but it looks like he's identified there's not much else to do. And if we look, it makes sense, right? Top, Sven is doing fine. This rotation does mean like maybe he'll be in trouble. Let's see if Oracle TPs or just walks over. But there's not really anything for him to do over here, and he doesn't really need to do pulls anymore at this point. Sven can just farm these camps. So he could go mid, but he was just mid. They just got that kill. The lane's pushing up, not much for him to do. And bottom lane, you have a Timber Saw, and you have this Tiny, who's not quite in position yet to do anything bottom. Plus, this guy's a difficult kill. So he decides the best thing for me to do is just stand here and stack. Please. Let's see if he stands there for 20 seconds and does it, because otherwise I said all that for nothing. Looks like it's true. Woo! We're good. Hit it. Okay, he's doing it slightly sooner because now they have a stack already, and so they are interrupting each other. So anytime you stack, you have to attack like half a second to a second sooner, depending on different camps. It's a little finicky. It's just something you get used to. I think that camp got blocked. Maybe both these. Maybe that's what he was pinging. It seems like both those camps got blocked. Though he has a sentry here, so I'm not sure. Maybe he sent a creep in there to block it. And then, I don't know, maybe he has another award in the small camp. Looks like they're waiting to see if they can get a kill. They have God Strength. That gives them a lot of damage. And then the stun plus this Fortune's End is a lot of crowd control at this point. Picks up 2 sentries. See what he's going to do with them. I like this. Look, another stack. These are now 4 stacks here. It's crazy. And he uses a sentry. I'm guessing. I'm not a mind reader. But it would be really bad for these stacks to get stolen. Right? He has dedicated a good amount of time to stacking these. And in fact, if you watch the recent Why Did I Lose, where Magnus spent a lot of time stacking these and we never did anything about it, that was a big mistake on our part. The enemy team could very much recognize that there could be stacks here, especially if they have a ward here. And with this many creeps, it is likely that SF takes some damage, could get low, and then maybe Earth Spirit suddenly rolls up and Nature's Prophet TPs in. Maybe this guy smokes in or something. Even if that doesn't happen, maybe Jakiro plus Doom, they've got some AoE spells. Nature's Prophet, maybe they steal these stacks. It would be really bad. So using this sentry to secure the area, make sure the enemy team at least doesn't have a ward up here. Maybe they know there are stacks, but at the least they don't know when you are doing those stacks if you have it blocked or have the area dewarded. I think that's really good, and I would expect. Looks like he's going to check the high ground there. Yes. Very unfortunate. Looks like they just missed a kill. Might be able to save his SF. So he tried. He used Fate's Edict on SF, which does not stop Doom damage because Doom is pure damage, but the Scorched Earth damage saves him from that, and it means he won't take the damage from your Purifying Flames, but he will get the heal. So he was trying to save SF. Didn't work out in this case, but he still got to try. Going for the kill. That's when he used Purifying Flames. I'm a little sad. He didn't get the Quelling Blade. He thought about it though, guys. I think that's what matters. I don't know what he's doing there. Oh, he's drawing on the minimap. That's interesting. Insania must play it with it swapped, so his minimap must be on this side, and his store opens up here. I think I played like that for a little bit. I wonder if Han is default like that, because I think he's a Han player before, right? And then I think Taiga and Boxy also use the unit override thing, and Team Liquid just has a bunch of unorthodox options. Again, double stack, that's another one you can do. I personally hit this at 52 and then walk up and hit this as soon as I can. Walk that way like you just saw Oracle do. And in fact, it's really good to do, so let's watch him again. Looks like you can hit it as late as 55, and this as late as 57. Looks like this one did not get stacked, though. So he was making the best of his time Of course, it would be ideal to stack both, but he was trying, even though he was slightly late. Like I said, you can do this at 52 and then hit this sooner. So 57, depending on the camp, some of them are faster or not. I think if it's just hit 57 and you hit them, I think you'll be okay. But in this case, he was like ever so slightly slow, but it's really hard to know whether you'll make it or not, so you just try while you're there. But again, he is stacking for his cores that can all farm a lot. Putting up defensive sentries, trying to make sure they don't get invaded. He did miss a sentry here, but it's not like he would know that. I want to point out he's been buying a lot of small items. The Iron Branches, the Boots, the Ring of Regen. He has, Ring of Basilius. He has his slots starting to fill up. And he isn't, many people just like rush Arcane Boots. It's like really not ideal. Okay, all these smaller items is a lot better in my opinion. Using his courier to check the high ground. Okay, I'm gonna guess he's pinging him to stack it. Oracle might stack it himself, because that gives Oracle the bonus gold. And Sven will help secure the rune down there. So Sven could technically stack this himself, but then Oracle does not get the bonus gold from that. Decides to buy Tranquils. If I had to guess... So first off, Oracles tend to end up with Tranquils regardless, but many like to build Aether Lens, and so they'll build Arcane Boots along the way. In this game, you can take some random damage from Nature's Prophet ult, and that's really irritating, because if you get hit by it, you can lose like half your health, and then you just can't play unless you use a bunch of mana to heal yourself. But that's not ideal, you know? And so Tranquils are very cheap, help you move around the map, and I think they're a great way to transition, essentially. Because you tend not to need the mana that much for yourself, and the mana is good for his team, but Timbersaw has one, Tiny also won Tranquils. But his team has one set of Arcane Boots, and I think the random damage from Nature's Prophet is worth countering with Tranquil Boots, and then he can still get an Aether Lens, and he just won't build Arcane Boots along the way, and that's fine. Another thing I paused here to point out, he hit this camp and pulled it out, and now you'll notice some of them are walking back. This saves Sven some time, so instead of Sven having to hit them, run over here, hit them, and then walk out, and then return hitting them, and that wastes a few seconds on his God Strength. Oracle did it for him and pulled them over. Now Sven can hit them, and as they run back, Sven will take slightly less damage. Not that it matters at this point so much, because he is quite strong. And he has lifesteal, it looks like. Yeah, with a Mask of Madness. But still, very good. Finally does get the ward.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'm a little surprised not to see a magic stick at all. But I guess if you think about the lane, it made sense, right? Earth Spirit was barely there, and Nature's Prophet was constantly in the lane, and Oracle was just pulling, which means he's never near him to get any stick charges. Though now it feels like we are closer to the point where we're going to start group fighting. I'm interested to see if he ever buys a stick or not. It seems like you would when you have 2 Iron Branches. Like, usually you turn those Iron Branches that you start with into a magic wand. See if that happens. He has his ultimate now, so he can be a little more active and help out the people on his team. Now, AM does seem to be getting a bit of space right now, but with all the... In fact, let's... I always forget to use this. Yeah, so AM's been getting some space, but he is still not strong for about another 15 minutes. If we check his items... Yeah, so he is closing in on the Battle Fury. Pretty solid timing, honestly. It looks like he'll hit it in about maybe like 12 and a half, 13 minutes. That's a pretty solid timing, plus treads. But that doesn't mean AM's ready to fight. He's still going to farm until he has his Manta. And then once he has his Manta, maybe he's willing to dabble a little bit. But really, he wants his Basher next after that. That usually takes about to 25 minutes at this level anyways. Use your own personal timings for your own experience and your own ranks. But that means that they don't have to feel super pressured right now to be winning the game at this moment. They have about 13 more minutes for SF Sven to come online and to start pushing down some of these buildings and put themselves in a position where they can win. Haven't lost any towers yet. That's a great start. Looks like they could defend top. I don't know if it's needed. I don't want to break away from iNSaNiA's perspective quite yet. So see that. Use the Fortune's End. Cast Purifying Flames after that. And then they know they're going to get the kill, so they're just trying to do damage. So Purifying Flames again. Loses those two top. Rotates up here to get the XP maybe, and to see if Nature's Prophet keeps pushing, maybe he can get the kill. Looks like he maybe wants to stack. Doesn't look like he's going to be allowed to. Ooh, nice. Uses spells to kill off that Treant to make sure he gets the stack. Alright, team is starting to push now. It's the play against AM. And in fact, let's take stock on what his team has. Right, so his Tiny's got boots working towards Blink. Still going to be a while, but Tiny is more or less ready to contribute with his levels. And in fact, Tiny can just contribute early. That's what he's good at. Oracle has level 6, more than enough to contribute. SF has finished Dragonlance. Looks like he's working on a BKB. That's a fast tempo item, right? He could go for other items. No, he wants to fight in the next, at this point, about 11.5 minutes. That's why he's getting the BKB. Timbersaw, getting close to a hood. And Sven, he's got his Echo Saber Mask of Madness. Sven is quite strong. Look at that. He's also working on his BKB because they know they want to fight soon. Now, of course, fight soon. Both of them have just essentially started their BKBs. It's still going to be a couple more minutes. But relatively speaking, that is quite soon in the game. To be working on a BKB to finish at around 16 minutes instead of later. You may not get that kind of luck in your pub games for people to know to do that, but that is what Oracle's team is doing. They are high level enough to understand why they need to do that. They've got most of the tier 1 towers. I'm interested to see what his team decides to do next. Whether they push the off-lane tier 1 or try to invade the jungle a little bit. Or whether they just chill until they have BKBs. Looks like they're smoking, heading top. Oracle's not, though. Not quite sure what was going on there. Saves a Tiny. Close. Tiny lives. Not going to get Nature's Prophet. Bit of an awkward smoke, but I think his team got the top bounty runes. Oh, and they are going to kill Jakiro. So this might set up them being able to get top tower now. Oracle did finally get the Quelling Blade, now that he has his slots freed up. So he did end up buying a wand. That cleared up his inventory a bit to pick up the Quelling Blade. This will have a lot of use against Nature's Prophet Sprout. And open up some different warding spots. Gonna go ahead and ult the Timbersaw. Are they gonna kill him? Nice. They do get the AM kill. 15 to 11. 14 to what's AM? 13. This team is definitely in the lead. Not just because they're winning this fight, but due to all those stacks earlier. Look at that. They are better flash farmers than AM. Because AM just finished his Battle Fury. Okay, a little bit ago. But at this point, AM is now ready to flash farm when he gets Battle Fury at, it was like 13 minutes. Sven and SF, they're ready to flash farm like when they hit like level 7. So they are going to start peaking past this AM, and now we are approaching their timing. This should be the BKB for SF, and very close to the BKB on Sven. Maybe they'll do Roshan at some point, even right now. What? Oh, I guess he still has God Strength. I didn't see. It's hard to tell with this. I can't really see it. Cosmetics, am I right? What's Insania doing? Decides to get a Glimmer Cape. Pretty good to help keep himself alive. And the enemy magic damage isn't... It's not, like, unbelievable. But if you think about it, AM's not ready to fight that much. So his right-click damage isn't quite there. Nature's Prophet has right damage, sure. Right-click damage. But then these three are mostly magic. And even though they're not the greatest amount of magic damage in the world, they are... Like, for this game, the enemy team currently has a good amount of magic. So I think Glimmer works a lot. Plus, it helps keep Oracle alive. And if he's alive, that means he can ult people. And against people like Nature's Prophet, AM, Earth Spirit, the Doom guy by a blink, he did. It can be difficult to stay alive as Oracle. Like, the enemy game plan should be to kill Oracle if possible. I don't think they'll... Yeah, maybe they will. Earth Spirit's buying a lot of time with this, actually. They're distracted a bit by him.
Dyer's bottom tower is Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Looks like they didn't do... Oh, no, they did do Aegis. Sorry, I zoned out there a bit. They did get Aegis. They're finishing up BKBs. They're really strong right now. Still dragged around in the back by that Earth Spirit. Oh, no, by the AM now. That's kind of what you need to do as AM or Earth Spirit. Nature's Prophet as well, these mobile heroes. Kind of need to force the enemy team to, like, waste time in the back. Ooh, this will be a big kill if they get this. Okay. Good communication. This guy stays alive long enough for Oracle to come in and ult. And now Sven is healthy enough to... Well, he can't die, so he's willing to fight.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
Will we ever be able to communicate like that in our pubs? I don't know. That's a nice timing. Ooh, nice. Okay, if they had killed Sven there after he BKB'd, that would have been really bad. But they were able to turn that fight around. But because it took place over there, it may not necessarily convert into an objective. So you see they're playing very aggressively up here, but they don't really have creeps. It's kind of wild what they're doing right now.
Top tower is under attack.
Oracle pinging this, saying, hey, we should kill this Earth Spirit. Or letting them at least know that Earth Spirit's still back here. I would imagine he's asking someone, one person to TP in.
Radiant's middle tower
Uses
is under
Purifying
attack.
Flames to secure the range creep. Very much worth it. Especially when you've already got some regen going. Good amount of sentries. When you want to play aggressive, you want to de-ward as you push up to make sure the enemy can't see you. Okay, SF has the Aegis. Look at this. I know this is an Oracle gameplay, but look at this layout. SF has the Aegis, and he's a ranged hero. He's got the Dragonlance and BKB, so he's hitting the tower. Everyone else stands behind. But now the tower's almost dead, so Timber, he's like the space creator. You know, so he can go in a bit like this. Go a little crazy. Right, here we are, ready to push high ground. Or just get the bottom tower. Whoa, Doom. It's scary. Okay, we should slow this down, because this is like one of the first big team fights that we've seen. Let's watch Oracle's spell casting. Alright, so here's the tower. I went back a little too far. Okay, let's slow down here. Okay, so Doom steps out. We see the whole Fortune's End Purifying Flames trick we've talked about already. Staying in the back because he has nothing to do up front. He needs to be in the back, survive, and help people out. Purifying Flames on Doom to try to get the kill, or at least do more damage to get the kill. Cast Fate's Edict on Tiny, who's currently taking a lot of damage. Cast Purifying Flames on Tiny to try to save his life, to give him some heal. Doesn't look like it's enough. Now he has to run away because Nature's Prophet is looking to kill him. That's what this Glimmer Cape would have helped with, is to go invis, and so Nature's Prophet can't just kill him. Fate's Edict plus Purifying Flames to heal up the SF, and he's almost got False Promise ready now. It was a bit hectic, but looks like their team won that fight. Just barely. Did SF lose Aegis? No, he did not. And he still has BKB. Many people save BKB until after you lose Aegis. So you die once, you absorb a lot of spells with your life, you come back to life, and then you BKB when they no longer have spells and you're stronger than them. I decided to get bottom tower. Probably don't have too much longer left on their Aegis.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Check his items. Oh, interesting. AM1 Yasha. I guess there's several ways for his illusions to be killed. But I would have thought that the... Well, I'm not an AM player. Let's not worry about it too much. This is an Oracle-focused replay. Yeah, but his team, building some damage items. They know they're kind of like planning to go right now. Are they close to anything? Working on the Ags. This guy's close to his... I don't know if he has a recipe already or not. But it looks like he's getting a Crystallis. And his right clicks are going to be really strong. He didn't finish the Glimmer Cape. Oh, so bored. Tier 1 items. Looks like he's picked the Ironwood Tree. If no one else takes it, I think the Pupil's Gift is pretty solid because it gives him more strength and armor. We'll see if he picks it or not. Although the planting trees could be really nifty with the Timber Saw. Maybe you could set some really cool stuff up to help him get away by using Timber Chain. If I was in a team game, that might be worth it. In a pub, I don't know. Purges off the dual breath on SF. Smokes. Looks like he was pinging bottom, but he's now by himself. Dodge the Earth Spirit. Peak Glimmer, buying himself some time. Quelling Blade to get out so he's not trapped in there forever. See all the items coming together. Some big crits on that Nature's Prophet to get the kill. Now we push in again. Looks like he's highlighted top. We don't have Aegis, so let's just secure the last tier 2 so that next time we win a big fight and we're up here, maybe we can just mega them. And AM was pushing here, so if we can set up this kill, that would be huge. Trying to get the Fortune's End. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Let your courier die. Good. Now he's cutting the wave a bit. Yeah, you don't need charge to get the full damage. Confirmed. If that was his team, I guess I would get this tier 2 and wait for the next Aegis. Let's slow down here. Alright. Very unfortunate. Got silenced, but he wanted to ult his Sven there. Of course, Sven was dying. That's what you do. But there was a good silence from Earth Spirit to prevent that. Kind of a downer to lose Sven like that, but that was Doom used. And a pretty big commitment from the enemy team as well. Dragged a lot of the Dire over here, though. So it's pretty good for them. They are buying themselves more time. Because before, they were about to get this tier 2. And now they've all been pulled over. Sven still died. That was really good for the Radiant. AM, let's see where he's at. This is a really interesting AM build. Oh, no. Okay. I thought he went like Sanjin Yasha into Heaven's Halberd. And I was like, double down on status resistance, I guess. But no, he decided... So he did end up with a Manta, because that is a very good item. And it looks like he wanted a Heaven's Halberd, which makes sense. It's really good against Sven and SF. This is a unique AM build, but I quite like it, actually. This gives him a lot of survivability, and if you use it on either of them, this guy is building right-click. He's got Daedalus. And then Sven is just, he right-clicks. That's what he does. So I like this build. Decided to go with the Sanjin Yasha along the way and then split it. Sorry, we're not an AM analyst here. Supposed to be focused on Oracle, but I do think that's pretty cool. Sorry. But anyways, the original point of this was that AM is approaching fight ready. So Heaven's Halberd is a little weirder than the Basher, but it looks like his team has a decent amount of crowd control, and it kind of looks like he's just going to have to man fight Sven, right? He probably can't kill Sven in one abyssal combo because there's an Oracle. And so I kind of like the Heaven's Halberd into Talisman, not Talisman, Butterfly, because this helps him man fight. So the point is, AM is getting close to being able to fight, and that's what all this buying time is really good for. And you'll notice we're very close to 25 minutes. I wonder if going S and Y along the way is worth it, though. I feel like you can farm faster with the Manta, and that would then just get you to a Halberd sooner. But I am a self-proclaimed support-only player, so I will assume that this highly ranked AM knows more than I do. But it's pretty cool. I love seeing people use the disassemble feature in some of these items. He's willing to use this Cliff Ward. His team has really strong control of this area. We see 4 of them down here. So it's not likely this is just a free D ward for the enemy team.
Radiant's bottom tower
What I was getting
is
to.
under attack.
Aegis should be up by... Okay, not yet. I didn't even know this was a feature. This is cool. I've not paid attention to this in the past, I guess. Roshan's still not up yet, but when you get it, that'll be pretty good. AM's starting to get scary. He's at level 20. They're following the courier. If they can get this, it'll be really big. Oh, Taiga's in this game. I didn't even notice. Alright, doesn't work out. But they know they need to kill AM because he is cutting all their creeps and it's making it really difficult to push. So they're trying to get the kill. Now they do have this one wave here. That is enough for them to push this tower. Will they go high ground? Looks like they are. A little bit of a preemptive heal on SF. Sorry, we're going too fast. We should do this slower so we can look at his spells. Because it's very difficult to cast Oracle spells properly. Because 3 of them can be used on enemies and your teammates. So what he's doing right now, he's preemptively casting on SF. So look at his damage and look at the heal. So you're going to heal more. I'm pretty sure magic resist counts when factoring in Purifying Flames damage to your own team. And so he's doing some damage, but he was full health, so it's not like he's putting his carry at risk. And now this guy is healing up. He's got several stacks of Purifying Flames going, which means he has 2 stacks of 44 heal per second. And if you look at his... Oh, it doesn't show here. But this guy is healing a lot. And so if you do this preemptively, it's a little safer than waiting for a fight to break out, and then you start building stacks. But first you have to, like, damage the SF, and he's like, what are you doing? You're killing me. And then they burst him or something. Or your other option is, okay, I don't want to do damage. Let me cast W on him first, but then he can't right-click. So by doing this preemptively when he's full health, you aren't really risking his life, and now he's going to have this heal going, and as a fight breaks out here, this guy is essentially buffed up with this heal. So that's something you can do if you have... He's not too worried about mana. He's pretty full on mana right now. Ooh, interesting. He queues up a gem. Are they worried about Invis? Did I miss something? They've got the Glimmer. But the gem also helps them de-ward, so that's pretty interesting. That sounds like a high-level play that I don't know if us Thebians will ever do. Oh, sorry. And then we, looks like we cast W on Sven. I'm not sure when that happened. Okay. So Sven's not bothered right now by... He doesn't need to right-click right now, so disarming him's okay. Looks like we're going to heal him once. Yes. So we start the healing process on him. The Dispel talent on Sven's stun is so irritating as a support player. I feel very awkward for Oracle right now because he sees his Sven running in way deep. But doesn't have the range to False Promise. Probably asking Sven not to go too far. And you see Sven does return. Look at Oracle's positioning. Always staying in the back. Close enough to cast spells, but not so close that it's easy to combo stun all of them at once. And if someone chooses to initiate on Oracle, Oracle has the Glimmer Cape, and as he tries to buy time, hopefully not using False Promise, they all get to go on the guy back here. So it's just generally better. This positioning is very good for backline supports like Oracle. To clarify that, so like let's say Oracle's back here and Nature's Prophet comes and starts killing him. They all can jump back here, and now you have like 4 people killing Nature's Prophet. Whereas if Oracle's up here and then Nature's Prophet comes back and starts fighting him, if they jump to Nature's Prophet, like honestly, that's not that far from the rest of the team who is poised to fight right here. Like having to fight right here is not that big of a difference. But the team poised back here to suddenly move all the way back here, that is much further by, you know, it doesn't look like that much. We see it all in one screen. But I promise that extra second or 2 that it takes to walk from here versus here, like 2 seconds with a huge Sven critting or the Daedalus, like the guy's dead. So small positioning things like this, they seem minor, but they really do add up into whether you survive or die in a fight.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Roshan is up. You've pierced through tier 3, so getting this Aegis should now open up being able to start getting some racks. And look at that, we're only at 27 minutes. So AM has reached the stage where he wants to fight. Looks like he chose to get a Scotty instead. But now, just as AM is ready to fight, we are already breaking through their high ground. We broke through the tier 3. We didn't quite get racks, but we've got our second Aegis, which means we have Aegis and Cheese now. We still have 2 tier 2s up. This is ideal. Well, maybe not ideal. Ideal would be like we have all our towers up and everything like that. But this is pretty good against an AM. But AM is like very close to being online. And so if we fail with this Aegis and Cheese right here, then I would be a little worried. Though their team this is not the greatest draft in my opinion. It's a little harder. Like Sven and SF feel a little better in the late game. Well, maybe that's not fully true. Let's not worry about it. Okay, slow down. Sorry. Sorry. Alright, this is a bug. Alright, positioning again in the back. This guy's getting initiated on. He's stunned, so he doesn't need to worry about right-clicking right now anyway. So let's go ahead and disarm him and start healing him up so he won't take all the magic damage. And we use Fortune's End as well to purge any stuns and such. So here we go. He is stunned. So we Fate's Edict to cancel out magic damage. Accidentally Purifying Flames the creep instead. Looks like that was actually a misclick. Oops. Okay, so we used it on the creeps instead. It happens to the best of us. Awkward. But the goal was to use it on Sven, okay? Misclicks aside. Use it on Sven so he doesn't take magic damage, heal him up, all that jazz. Purge the stuns from him. Now he's not too worried. We still have the ult, although actually he just got silenced, so now he has to be a little careful. I would get... Oh, sorry. We should look at his perspective. I would guess he's torn because it looks like Sven is going to be fine. So he's probably going to use his ult on someone up here. Maybe this SF here. Yep. You don't need to wait for them to get to the very end of their life. You can use it a little sooner. And then he's just going to use Fate's Edict and Purifying Flames on the Sven, who's sitting in the back safely, to heal him up. Let's see how many times you can... As you level Fate's Edict up, you can cast Purifying Flames more. I would guess that's why he did a second point, because due to cast times, it's a little hard to get 2 casts of Purifying Flames in one Fate's Edict. But if you level it up to 3.5, it's pretty consistent to be able to use Purifying Flames twice on a carry, and they won't take damage, and they'll heal, right? So when you have this maxed out, getting to cast this twice is an 800 heal, whereas if you only get to cast it once, it's a 400 heal. It's simple math, guys. Times 2. Uh-oh. Don't have my ult anymore, guys, but we've got Aegis. Alright, disarm and heal him. He's not doing any damage, though that might have... Oh, no. Use the Fortune's End to purge off the damage from his Tiny to try to save him. Looks like he died in the end anyways. Uh-oh, getting gone on. Don't have my Glimmer Cape. Might disarm him. Yep, disarms the AM because his team does not have that much magic damage. The way they kill AM is with the right clicks of SF and Sven. So he's not worried about reducing AM's magic, the damage he takes. But not that it matters anyways, because they weren't really in position to kill AM anyways. So he was just trying to survive, disarm the AM. Man, there's a lot to talk about for Oracle. What the heck? That's why my brain's too small to play Oracle. Too hard. It's a lot of thinking, guys. Jakiro, you just dual breath. You ice path multiple heroes. Very easy. A lot more math calculations with Oracle. Gets himself a clarity. It's not that weird to get clarity at this late of the game, guys. Look, now he doesn't have to go back. He just clarity's up. It's great. Still has this Fairy Fire. I might just sell that. Gets the Ghost Scepter so that people like Nature's Prophet and AM can't easily kill him. Alright, get the Nature's Prophet kill. And they haven't actually converted anything to Rax, which is a little scary. He needs Fortune's End to push this a little faster. He can't cast too many spells, though, because he does have to be... Okay, never mind. There's a regen rune, so he's fine. I was going to say, he has to be a little careful. He needs to make sure he has enough mana to contribute. Oh, if they kill this AM, that would be huge. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm a little worried. Alright, purge the stun, heal him. Actually, I don't know if he healed him. I missed that. I don't think he did. I think he just purged the stun. As this guy backs up, heal him up. Guy's doomed. Gonna heal himself up a bit because no one looks like they're at risk of dying. Guys, please turn this into buildings. Kill your SF a little bit. Then watch the fight. See, he has to constantly look around. This is the worst part about playing save heroes. You have to constantly keep an eye on everything. Some tips for you guys. If you look up here, you can see people's health, so that can help you. And then you have to do what Liquid.iNSaNiA is doing, okay? You can't just watch your own hero. If you look at your own hero in the center, I have no idea where any of my team is. You have to have a good sense of where your own hero is. Like, oh, I clicked here. Now I know my hero's in the area. Let me go look around at everyone else. Let me snap back. I can't do it in free replay. You snap back to your hero with the hero select button, and you're like, okay, I'm here. Now let me go see what's going on. If you play save heroes, it's really important to do this. Because right now, like, if he's only looking at himself, I don't know what I have to cast. I've got my ult, but, you know, whatever. But now, you know, like, oh, okay, think about Sven. Watch this SF. They're very close together. Where's the enemy? Like, are they about to blink, nuke this guy? I might need to preemptively cast this. You have to have really good camera control to gather in the information during team fights. If you are someone like Oracle, Dazzle, Abaddon, any of those guys. And we see Insania doing that too. He's trying to keep an eye on all his heroes. It's a little stressful. I'm not gonna lie. Io, he's another hero. But you notice he's always trying to keep an eye on his heroes and watch the enemy team. Like, look at his camera position. He sees himself, but it's in this very small corner. And his main screen, where his attention is, I wish there was a feature to see where people were looking at. That would be awesome. But you can kind of tell based on their mouse. To an extent. But, like, he's watching the action. Finally, so the Ghost Scepter is to protect himself from those right clickers. Now he's going to get a Aether Lens. Because now his problems are solved. Between Glimmer and Ghost Scepter, I cannot be killed instantly by someone jumping me in the back lines. Now that I have to sit far back, what would be great? If I can cast further. You know, that would let me cast my spells without getting in the range of danger, and because I have to sit so far back against these heroes that can blink or teleport on me, like, that cast range would help. Many people get the cast range anyways, but the thing is, Aether Lens is a luxury item. You need to fulfill all your other issues first. The issue in this game is that I could die very easily. Now that I have the items that help me not die, now I can go back for that luxury item. Whereas if he gets Aether Lens first, and then he can cast further, so he sits a little further back, but then AM just blink kills him. And then it's like, oh. Well, I had to use all my spells on myself to survive. Guess what? I don't need any cast range for that. And so the Aether Lens is like not good. Now some games, oracles can go Aether Lens first, but I haven't made the itemization video yet, have I? That should be one of the next ones, I think. But that's the thing with Aether Lens. Sneak peek for you guys. You have to have your other problems solved first. You need a Force Staff, you gotta get the Force Staff. Aether Lens rarely solves an issue for you. It just makes your life easier, which can be very much worth it sometimes when you have to, like, cast... We should slow down. There's, like, things happening. It can be very much worth it when, like, you need to, you need to get your ult off, stuff like that. But more than that, you got to survive, usually. You got to be able to get out of clockwork cogs. What am I saying? Stuff like that. I should just... AM's dead. They probably just end the game, but they might get Megas to be safe. Okay, honestly, I feel a little distracted. I was talking about other stuff. Let's go back to this fight, because this is kind of the game-winning moment. You get this Rax. Alright, here we are. Let's watch it one more time. Can't cast too many spells. He has to keep in mind his mana pool. Has to be a little conservative with it. They bought back Macropyre, trying to delay a bit of time. They're waiting for Earth Spirit. That'll be their best chance, right? 5-on-5. Keep in mind his positioning. Keeping an eye on everything as much as he can. Even now doesn't want to go in too far, but they see he's getting stunned, so they throw the Purge out. Actually, this is just a basic Dispel, isn't it? Okay, this doesn't remove stuns. Sorry, guys. I misspoke on that. But it does remove things like Dual Breath, silences, and slows, stuff like that, but not stuns. I think I said that earlier. But this is just a basic Dispel. Now, False Promise is a strong Dispel, so you can use False Promise on someone who is stunned, and that will unstun them. Not necessarily why you want to use it, but it is a helpful benefit of that. But the, at least, Fortune's End is a basic Dispel. Okay. AM blinks to the back. Look at that. Okay. All this stuff happening here. Where does AM go? For the Oracle. Because if he tries to kill any of these guys, Oracle will just ult. Oracle has to be the target. That's why Oracle has to sit in the back. You have a target painted on yourself when you play save heroes. And against bad teams who continue to target your own teammates and leave you in the backline, those games are going to be fantastically easy. By the way, Oracle bought more clarities. He needs mana. He wants to stay up here. He doesn't have to back. Consumables at the 32-minute marks. Totally fine. If you play a save hero, there's a target on you. Like we just saw that AM jump on him. You have to position in the back. You have to have your save items for yourself, because you have to save yourself in order to use your spells on your teammates, right? If Oracle just ults himself to survive, what is the point of playing Oracle? You could have just been someone else who is tanky and not going to die. If your spells are not being used on your teammates in like 90% of the case, you have an issue. And that's why you get items to survive yourself, and that saves your spells for your teammates. Now, sometimes it's okay to use your spells on yourself, okay? We've seen it a couple times. But very rarely do you want to false promise yourself or grave yourself. Like, that is the least ideal situation. The least ideal situation is just dying without using it at all. But using it on yourself is one of the least ideal. I'm going to be safe, get the Megas. This game's done now. Yep. Oh, look at that. So, things we saw from Oracle. Laning. Unfortunately, we actually didn't get to see... We saw what is good support laning, but not strictly good Oracle laning. We didn't really see too much of him using Fortune's End and Purifying Flames. I feel a little bad about that, but we've already made this video, so we're committed. I do recommend, you shouldn't just watch this one video and consider yourself a learned Oracle player. You should still go watch a couple more, and hopefully there you'll see a bit more about how Oracles can abuse Fortune's End and Purifying Flames. In this case, we just saw good support play, which is, wow, I'm just able to pull the whole time, Anyone else could do that as well, but you need to know to do that, whether you're playing Oracle or not. But what we did see unique to Oracle, we saw him use a couple of his different tricks, and in those team fights we got to highlight staying in the back, keeping an eye on everything going on, careful use of the spells, When the thing is, when you play Oracle, of all of them, Oracle is very tough because all 3 of his spells can have. Okay, this one not so much. There's not really negative effects of using this one, but Fate's Edict. If you use it on a teammate and they want to right click, they're gonna be pissed. They're gonna be like, "Why'd you just disarm me? Now the enemy got away." Or you use it on the enemy to disarm them, but then your Lina nukes them and just like, "What the heck? Like you just wasted my ult." Purifying Flames, you use it on the enemy too many times, and they're healing too much and they get away, and your team's like, why are you healing the enemy? You know, it's very stressful. Or you use it on a teammate, you get them low and then you get killed, or you like don't false promise soon enough because it's a very short cast range. You have to be a bit aware of that. Suggest getting the cast range talent and stuff. But the point is, all of these spells can be very complicated to use. And Insania, we didn't really see any of that because Insania is really good and he doesn't mess it up. But hopefully we highlighted a couple of those times, right? Like preemptively purifying flames the SF so that we're not putting him at risk when he is moving into fight. Or wait till SF starts to back off before casting Fate's Edict and then healing him up. Not while he's trying to hit the tower and get kills. Unless you absolutely have to. You know, using Fortune's End to remove the silence and the slows from teammates. Not stuns, as I fortunately learned and reminded myself. Yeah, and your itemization should help you survive rather than necessarily do damage or something. You know, many people will buy Aether Lens first. That's usually fine, but do consider whether you need a Glimmer, Ghost Scepter, Force Staff, all of those first. Even a Blink can be pretty good. Blink lets you position way in the back and then pop in to ult someone as needed. That can be... Sometimes that is what you need. It's not too often, especially on a position 5. And then people will delay their level 10 talent because it's not as useful. Oracle doesn't have that much of a mana pool issue, so I have noticed many people push it off. They get the 125 cast range talent first, and then they pick up the level 12 talent after that when they have nothing else going on, when they've maxed out all their abilities. And then if he had hit level 20 and 25, he would have gotten, you know, those. Okay, I think that's it. I hope that helped. Learn a little bit more about Oracle. Myself, I also learned a little bit. I think you just have to have a lot of discipline when you play Oracle. A very calculated use of your spells, which can be tough. Something you just develop with experience. But very rewarding because people don't like to play Oracle. And so if you're a good Oracle player, people will not be used... I have died many times. Not being used to the Purifying Flames and Fortune End's damage, along with his really good right click. So if you want to commit to learning him, I think he's a great hero. In this meta right now, I think it's okay. He's not the strongest he's ever been, so I would say he's like middle, lower of the pack at this moment. But in pub games, I don't think that matters as much. But if you really want to follow like the high Immortal Pro level scene meta, I would say Oracle's slightly less popular right now. But because he's uncommon, I think that then gives him a strength that people are not used to. And then hopefully he gets buffed soon, and then even more reason to learn him. Okay, that's it. Goodbye. Thanks, guys.